Have you been thinking about doing a Joe Dispenza retreat and just want a little bit more insight about what the experience is like? In this video, I will share everything that I learned from my progressive retreat experience here in LA. So come join me. Okay, so let's get cozy and just sit back and relax, and let's talk about what my experience was like at the Joe Dispenza retreat, the progressive retreat here in LA. So from my understanding, the progressive retreat is like the entry level first thing you do as far as Dr. Joe Dispenza goes. And long story short, because of the fires, the retreat was pushed back. And because of that, it was initially canceled and pushed back a couple months. And because of that, some spots became available, and that's how I was able to actually attend, because before that it was sold out. So, it was lucky, I guess, in some ways of me to be able to go, and it came at a great time in my life. Personally, I had just lost my job, and I'm kind of still in the middle of that transition. And I had been doing some meditating just to help me keep myself centered. And so I think it was really a key time that really has helped me keep a perspective of what I want my future to be like and what I want to create. So, okay, the experience itself, I was very excited. It was only like 2.5 days. It started on a Friday and it goes through Sunday. And that in itself is really manageable. Some of his retreats are 7 days long or longer. I believe like now he has like a 10-day long one. And so that felt really good and exciting for me. And I didn't really know anyone attending, which is great in a sense, because I do recommend that you don't sit with the people that you know if you go with people that you know, so that you can have your own experience and not have it. The people that you already know are kind of, in a way, part of your past. Not that they shouldn't be part of your life, but you are trying to create something from nothing, basically. And so one of the recommendations is to sit around new people, which I did anyway, because I didn't know anyone. And I actually got connected to these women that were going through someone that we both knew. And so I ended up spending the entire weekend with them. They were older women, and I personally love interacting and really feel a connection and a resonance with older women. Like, I just feel like there's this safety in it for me that I really enjoy, and it just felt like a really safe space and group to be around during this time. One of the things that I'll mention that probably changes a lot from one retreat to the next is that the seating was really uncomfortable. The auditorium we were in, the seats were really close, not just like the ones next to you, but the ones in front of you. So there really wasn't a lot of leg space. And I'm not a big person. I'm not tall. I'm not wide. And so I was not very comfortable. So I assume like other people weren't comfortable either, which is kind of an unfortunate thing, because if you are not comfortable, even if the whole point is that you kind of forget about, and not even forget, but just sort of become nothing. And he talks about this a lot, instead of your entire experience being dictated by your environment. So I think that was one thing that you could work through even in that moment. I do think that having better seating would have been very helpful to be able to really drop into a meditation, because you're already in like a strange environment. So it's already not the comfort of your home, and you're already surrounded by all these other energies. And so to speak to the energy was always really high and positive, and it felt so welcoming. That's one thing I definitely want to point, is that even in the lines to get in, or walking to a parking lot, or figuring out where the venue was, everyone that I spoke to felt like I already knew them in a way that was like really open. They were really open and really friendly, really kind. And these were people from all walks of life, people from different countries, different states, people that traveled for hours, and people who were just like down the road. So it was such a testament to the kind of people that is drawn to this kind of event, and also to the teachings themselves that transform people into just good people. And so that was one thing that definitely stood out. And it just goes to show and reminded me of how energy is such a big part, if not the biggest, of just like our experience and our world and like life in general. To that, I also learned that our conscious mind, if I'm not mistaken, is only 5% of like real reality, and then 95% of our experience is subconscious. So there's just so much that we don't consciously know or are aware of, which is a lot of who we are in our existence. And that can dictate so much of our experience in this world. And I think it's part of the journey of being human, but also it opens up your mind to more, to knowing that there's more and believing that there's more for you out there. Okay, so what else do I want to share? So logistically, some things, bring an eye mask. A lot of people brought a mask, and when I meditate, I use a mask. And I noticed that a lot of people didn't. And I guess it's up to you, but I think it's easier to go inward when you're wearing a mask than when there's like light outside, even if you close your eyes. Stay close to the venue if you're able to, just because it creates less of a barrier for you to feel in the moment and, you know, to drop into the experience better. Like you don't have to deal with traffic and parking and all that kind of thing. Make arrangements, sit by people you don't know, bring snacks because you're going to be there the entire day. Like it starts at, let's say, 8 and it goes through like 6 p.m. And you do get a lunch. Lunch is provided with your ticket. I'm sure the food changes depending on the place that you're at, but it really wasn't that great. It was good. It was just not great. So bring snacks because you're going to probably get hungry anyway, because it's the entire day that you're there, and bring like a drink, water, whatever that you like to drink. Stay open. I don't know why I wrote this down. I mean, obviously you want to stay open for the experience and to the experience. However, what's coming to mind right now is how I remember at one point we'd probably done like 3 meditations that day, and then he announced that we were going to do another one, and I was, for some reason, really resistant to another meditation. I was like, I'm kind of meditated out, and I don't know if that was like, I don't know if it's a judgment of me to feel like it was wrong to feel that way, or if it was also a way of facing the why I didn't want to meditate again. This is hard. This is work. It doesn't look like you're doing much, but there's just a lot going on within you, and it's a lot of work. And I have to remind myself of that personally too, because the past 2 months I've been meditating every day, and again, like I don't have a full-time job, and in a way I don't want to rush into, I could get another job, but I don't want to rush into something that's just going to be more of the same. And I want to create this new experience, and I'm in a position, in a place where I can work part-time for a little while and create space for me to really connect with what's coming through and what's next for me. And I've really felt that. And sometimes it's scary, and sometimes I'm like, why am I not just like working more? And I don't have a full, clear answer to that, but I do know that I'm trying to stay open, and that all these meditating and introspection and learning. I'm still learning a lot through different things that I've been learning about. Like I'm learning NET and doing all these other things that I know feel very aligned, and I know because of that I have to trust that they'll be fruitful down the road. So going back to the Joe Dispenza experience, which is why you are here, they do give you a course ahead of time that you're required to do. I don't know. I mean, there's no way of them to know that you did it or not, but if you're not familiar with his work, I was, because I've listened to a couple of his books and I've done a handful of his meditations. And if you haven't, I really think the course is really helpful to help you understand how he speaks and what he speaks to. And I think if you go to the retreat without knowing this in advance, you won't get as much out of it, because you'll be at this like kind of like a step behind from most other people. And even if it feels repetitive, I do believe that you and I would get different things, and it will land differently every time I would hear it, and I will receive it. I'd receive it differently. So definitely do the course. It's a long course. It's like 8 hours long. So space it out. You get it right away when you sign up. So hopefully you like sign up with time to do it. They do discourage taking any kind of anything before that, but I do believe that a microdose comes in very appropriate and handy in this kind of experience. I think there's both schools of thought of, if you're microdosing, yes, it enhances your experience, which can be beneficial, especially if you're like feeling really anxious or going through a lot in life at that moment. And then there's the other side of things of, if you really want to cultivate the power of your own mind without needing an outside substance, then you wouldn't do it. So I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. Whatever feels right for you. In full transparency, I did microdose. And again, like it was a full day event, so you could technically take 2 microdoses because of how long the effects last. And I generally just take 1. I found them helpful. I just wanted it to be part of my experience, I guess. I just like knew that I wanted to do it. But if you don't do it, it's totally fine and you'll still get a full experience. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth creating the space for yourself. It's only a weekend. It is, at least the one that I went to was like between $600 to $800, I believe, depending on where you sat. I think it's worth it. I think just the fact that you are investing in your mental health and basically your future. So it's worth it to me. The energy was always high for the most part. They do a good job of, music has such resonance, and they did a good job at sharing upbeat music during the breaks to keep the energy up, and just heart-opening music that was still like popular music. It wasn't necessarily just like sound. It was like actual songs, so people could connect to that. And there were songs that generally people would feel happy and open and like love through. So they did a great job with that. Dr. Joe's really funny. I did not know that. From his books, you wouldn't know that. From his podcasts, you wouldn't know that. From his meditations, you wouldn't know that. It's something that you get to experience when you go to one of his retreats. So that was something that I was like pleasantly surprised. I didn't really know what to expect, but he's funny. He's a funny guy. And I think that helps with his teaching and how people receive him. They did a demonstration of the pineal gland meditation, and they did it with people who are like expert meditators, is what he calls them. A lot of people from his staff, his team that has been doing this for a long time. And it was really interesting to see. I've never seen something like it. People were kind of like shaking. It's just the activation of the pineal gland can make you experience different things. I don't know enough about it. So that was cool. It was interesting and cool, and yeah. I think one thing I would recommend, and I think as with anything, is to stay consistent with your practice after. Because you're there for 3 days and you're in an environment that fosters meditating, and like it's already in like your day's schedule, you're not going to be distracted by anything else, which is why I think it's so worth it. And so when you go home, I think it's important to create that same kind of space, even if it's just for 30 minutes. Like if you think about the time you've spent there, you've spent like 2.5 days, you can make space for 30 minutes within your day-to-day. I would love to experience his 7-day retreat. I think that sounds so fun. And I don't know if they do this at all of his 7-day retreats, but I think it'd be so cool to get like brain scans. They do a lot of testing. It's one of the most exciting things about it is that it's no longer considered or able to be called pseudoscience, because it's been tested time and time again of how your brain waves change and how you can create this state of coherence within your mind and body where anything could happen, where all possibilities collide. Which sounds so, I don't know. I don't know even why I'm trying to disclaim this. I know a lot of my followers might not be necessarily into this realm of meditation. So I hope I'm just even planting a seed of curiosity. Stay open to the experience. It changes your state. Enjoy it. Be present. Just enjoy it and experience it, and allow anything that comes through to come through. I think it's important to not have a specific goal from it. It's important to stay open to what comes through and how you experience it, and what you learn, how it changes you, if it changes you. And I think if you're even open to something like that, you're already thinking a little differently, and that's exciting. So that was my experience. It was really fun. I think it was definitely worth it. I would do it again. I wish I could meditate like that more and integrate that into my day-to-day. And I am meditating every day, just not as much. And it's important too, I think he talks about this too, about being able to not just do this with your eyes closed, but to do it with your eyes open. Like that is the ultimate goal, is to not need to be in a meditative position to be able to walk and talk and live your day-to-day life and still experience the same energetics around it. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to know if you've ever been to one of his retreats, and if you've been to one of his longer retreats, definitely let me know what your experience was. Do you feel like it was worth it? You do it again? Just let me know. Okay, guys. I'll wrap this for now, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye.